What's going on there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. To my great surprise, I actually really loved Beauty and the Beast, the live action. I kind of got hints that it could have been really good when I looked at Jungle Book, and I was just very fascinated by how visually immersion and how fascinating that was with just one main character and everything else just completely CG. I thought that was really good, but the story was really well done as well. I didn't get to see Cinderella, but I did see Maleficent. Maleficent was actually pretty decent. I've heard that Cinderella was really good, but I did not know that I would really love Beauty and the Beast. Me and my fiance, we watched it, and we were just gushing, like from just the opening crawl, and watching, the castle that you see in every single Walt Disney movie, and then they're kind of panning out. And it showed a really interesting thing that they never did in the cartoons. They showed, kind of a little bit more of the origin stories of the Beast, as well as the castle, and kind of what happened prior to, what kind of mood he was in, what kind of person he was. And not just that, he's an adult at this stage. And it's really interesting to know, how he became who he was through certain nudges and dialogue with the script. I thought they did some really good things adding to the flavor that was the 1991 amazing, I think it was Academy Award winning Beauty and the Beast. So for this one, I think that Emma Watson and Dan Stevens as Belle and Beast, they have amazing chemistry. It's really weird though because Emma is just a great actress in general, but she can very well sing as well. And Dan Stevens, like in Legion, all the different roles he plays, it's like night and day. Looking at him in Legion and then him in this, and him being able to sing, him being able to, get into the role. I'm curious to see how they did in motion capture because it looked like he did the mannerisms as well, especially when I saw him kind of like as normal later on. But I thought that their love story and their chemistry was just very well thought out. Not just that, I think I really loved the way that they had the Beast sounding. It brought me back to remembrance of my childhood. It was nostalgia just throughout. The biggest part of that made me and Alicia gush was the fact that every single song that was in the original 1991 Beauty and Beast was in this one. And they extended that with adding extra songs. There was one song that Beast has sang, I think around the time that he made kind of, in my opinion, the ultimate sacrifice, that I think it added so much more depth to his character. Whereas before it was kind of just like it went to the next scene, went to the next scene. I actually really felt, something in that song that he actually sang for that one. I think that I feel like a couple other people had different songs. Some of them kind of were hit or miss, but I think the extended songs with the Beast, I thought that those were probably the best that I would say. But everybody performed it well. Like I think even like Luke Evans and Josh Gad as Lefou and Gaston, a lot of people had a lot of interesting backlash with Josh Gad as Lefou. I think with the insinuation of him being homosexual and him having this other kind of relationship with Gaston, I thought that was really implied and inferred in the cartoon anyway. But it wasn't too overbearing in this one. I wanted to actually touch on that, it was noticeable if you really try to pay attention to it, but it wasn't like, all flamboyant and all in your face. Like it was very natural, it was very progressional. And I thought Josh Gad, he committed to all those sequences very well, just as much as Luke Evans did. I think that actually, as far as a performer, I was literally laughing at most of his jokes, and I think that they all landed very well. But Luke Evans, the charisma and just I don't know, he's just an egotistical sociopath. And he does his role so well that I was just like, man, I hated him in the cartoon, and I definitely hate his character in this one. But he's that kind of hate that you kind of hate to love kind of thing. And even the confrontation with Beast and Gaston, I think they did that cinematically very well because it could have come off really childish and cheesy, but it was actually done very well. The visual effects for this one were top notch. That's the thing, that this movie, in my opinion, should, if not on visual effects alone, should get nominated. I think that Emma Watson, though, the way she commits to this character, it reminded me of what happened with what is the lady's name? Andrews, that committed to Mary Poppins. It's on that level. I think that she does the best reincarnation of like a Disney princess. Like I think that I've seen cinematically yet. Whenever they do Aladdin or whenever they do like Mulan or whatever, like we'll see. But as of right now, Emma Stone is Belle. Like she commits to everything. Like everything as far as the women empowerment, a very strong intellectual type that's not easily impressionable, but at the same time very articulate and wanting to be able to help. I think that one of the interesting things was, I was sitting there thinking to myself, at what point is there going to be a turning point that's going to allow me to believe, that she could care for him. And it definitely happened just like it did in the cartoon when after the attack of the wolves and her, choosing to want to help him in spite of everything he did, it just made her character so much more lovable and integrity ridden, and I just really was captivated by what Emma Watson did, committing to the role just as much as Dan Stevens. And so for me, I thought this was very well done. A lot of people have kind of been on the fence with it, said it wasn't as good as the original. I think that what it does, I'm not going to say it's better than the original. I think it adds an extension to the realism of what the movie can convey through the message. And the message to me has always been like, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't just assume, you can be one way with the person and not see who they are underneath, And it's like, I think definitely, even in this one with Belle, like coming to know who her dad really was, Like before he was just kind of this protector, but you get to see layers of why, what happened with her mother, what happened with all these different kind of things. And you get to see this underlying factor that allows you to be able to see why she's so captivated even with him, with Beast. And I think that there's just so many different layers that they add to these characters that I think that they do a really good job with, just me personally. So I actually really love the film. I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. I actually was really surprised I gave it that high of a number because I was sitting there looking for flaws. And I think that maybe some numbers didn't need to be there. Some musical numbers didn't need to be there, but that was about it. Everybody committed to the role. It wasn't too childish. It was enough that kids and adults would love. But if you have this special person in your heart, which right now and forever, that's going to be my fiance, Alicia, like you're just going to gush over this, especially if you take them there with you. Like we could not stop laughing. We couldn't stop like falling in love all over again. And like by the end of it, we were just sitting there dancing, like listening to the opening credits. It's one thing to kind of you wait and after the movie out of respect and watch the credits go by, but it's another thing to sit there and just enjoy in reverence of everything that kind of happened after the fact, and you just kind of like, you just this loving bliss kind of feel, and that's what it made me feel, So I really loved what they did with this. Definitely looking to see what they're gonna do with Aladdin, what they're gonna do with Little Mermaid, what they're gonna do with Mulan, and especially The Lion King, which especially with Jon Favreau is already committed to that. But anyway, that's all I got. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Hopefully you enjoyed this review for Beauty and the Beast, Tale as Old as Time. Peace, everybody.